Welcome to the RSViewStudio Transfer the PanelView Plus tutorial by Sean Tierney. Once you're finished designing your RSViewStudio Machine Edition application, you typically want to transfer it to your PanelView Plus. So in this case, the first step would be to create a runtime file that the RSView Machine Edition runtime on your PanelView Plus will be able to use. So to do that, we're going to choose Application, Create Runtime Application. Now you'll notice there's also a Test Application button here. This is used to create a temporary runtime so that you can test the application on your computer without having to download it to the PanelView Plus, which is always a good idea if you have the PLC connected to your computer. In this case, though, I'm just going to create a runtime application that I can transfer to the PanelView Plus by selecting this choice. Again, by default, it has the name of my application, and by default, it selects the newest version runtime to compile. And again, by default, it goes in the Shared Documents folder inside of the Documents and Settings on your drive. Alright, I'm being prompted to replace the existing runtime. I'm going to say yes. It's asking me if I want to save my screen. I'll say yes. And now my screen is closed and RSViewStudio is creating my runtime file. Now that the runtime file has been created, the next thing I have to do is use the transfer utility, which I can select either by using this icon on the toolbar or by going to Tools, Transfer Utility. Now in this case, the first thing I need to do is select my runtime file on my hard drive in the Download tab. The next thing I could select is to change the name of the file once it's downloaded to the PanelView Plus, but typically you should make those two files match. I can select where I want to download my PanelView Plus file to, my Machine Edition runtime file to. Typically you want it to go to the internal storage of your PanelView Plus. And then finally, it's very important to make sure you choose Run Application when Download Completes and Replace Communications. Now, when you choose Run Application when Download Completes, immediately after the PanelView Plus receives your application, it will run it, which alleviates having to continuously select the file and run it manually from the menu. The only thing you want to do is if you do select this checkbox, you want to make sure you have a Go to Configuration Mode button on your screens. Otherwise, you'll have no way to get out of your application and get back to the configuration mode. If that does happen to you, just re-download a new project with a configuration button and you'll be able to get back to the configuration menu. Replace communications is very important. You don't want to use the last projects or the default communications that came with the PanelView Plus, but you want to use whatever communications you've configured during development time, if you expect your application to actually talk to your PLC. And finally, I will select my PanelView Plus on my network and select Download, and then the transfer utility will take my MER Machine Edition runtime file and transfer it down to the PanelView Plus. That's the PanelView Plus transfer utility tutorial. If you have any questions or would like to see a different tutorial in the future, please leave me feedback. And as always, thank you for watching the tutorial.